Law number 10, the law of subjectivity. The best brand claims are subjective, which means you need to work 10 times harder to validate them. Looking at the hiring process as, say, an alien would, you might wonder how a company can ever hire anybody. For example, after interviewing with a company that it's probably never heard of the day before you applied, statistically, you get an offer. And then you quit your current role. But that offer isn't a contract. It's a non-binding promise, an intention. Plenty of people have had their offer rescinded after quitting their current job. If it weren't for the imperative to feed and house ourselves and our families, prospects would have rejected the whole thing a long time ago. Recent news stories about fake companies hiring people and getting a few weeks out of work out of them before it becomes clear that that quote-unquote employee has been scammed make that issue even more clear. Even in situations where everyone's trying to be their best and do the upstanding, forthright thing, there's so much biased language and spin and agendas and misdirection and bullshit that hours of talking can go by without anything being said. And what needs to be said in a more clear and direct fashion is why someone would choose this company, your company. What is the value you offer a candidate to become an employee? It sounds simple, but it really isn't. There are two kinds of value that an employer offers an employee: objective value and subjective value. Objective values are things that, when offered, all parties have a shared understanding of what's being offered. It's objective. When a company offers a salary of $80,000, it's not $75,000 or $80,000 Canadian. There's no equivocation. It's a fact. Everyone knows what $80,000 means. Other objective values offered might include the title, the start date, the office location, specific benefits. Some roles come with stock or specific bonus structures, defined paid time off. These things are all objectively true offers, objective values. Subjective values are the things that you offer, but it's not strictly clear that what you said and what they heard are the same. When you say that you offer world-class benefits, what does that mean? Is dental included? Is it 100% paid premium? What's the copay? What's the deductible? Will you pay for my gym membership? What if my gym membership is an MMA gym? Do you offer pet insurance? Are in vitro services offered? What about freezing eggs? What sounds like a nice claim is actually not much at all. Now, I don't mean to impugn anyone. I'll assume, for the sake of argument, that most companies aren't trying to obfuscate, that most of them are trying to just sell, that they're taking the same approach that your grocery store does to a box of crackers. Have you ever looked at some of the throwaway language on a store brand food? It is hilarious. You'd think they had to split the atom on those pretzels, to make them delicious, or that eating those nuts would lead to world peace. But jobs aren't something you can sell. They're too important for flourishy language like that. Jobs demand specificity, especially when what you're talking about is so subjective. Because it turns out that what a candidate wants is the subjective stuff in a job: innovation, a mission, support from their team, a boss who wants them to grow, recognition, that sort of thing. But since you talk about those subjective values like they're fun things to claim and not the real reason someone's interested in the role, it doesn't actually help you attract the candidate. Why this works. There was a time way back when we didn't know what generally a reasonable salary would be, for any given job anyway. Were we being paid the market rate, or were we being underpaid? That seems like a long time ago. Even if we ignore the current conversation around full pay transparency laws, there's just too much data out there to not know what a nurse in Utah generally makes, or what a sales manager in a regional HVAC distribution company generally makes. While all parties have their guards up when they negotiate salaries, no one is rationally expecting people to work way below the norm. In fact, seeing a role where the pay is well above the norm sounds just as many alarm bells as seeing jobs paying below it. So when you know that most inbound sales managers in your area make the same amount of money, the only thing left that will influence their choice is, everything else. Once you're paid fairly, what do you want most? More professional development so you can make more money and have more impact down the road? Less oversight and supervision? More support from your team and company? A mission you believe in? In a way, the internet and all that data has allowed us to focus more clearly and strongly on things beyond money. Where this falls apart. On one hand, if you aren't offering people a salary and benefits within a normalized range, offering them a mission may not do much good. Subjective value only has value when the base objective needs are met first. And there is and will probably always be an audience of people whose primary and secondary focus is to maximize their objective value. They're focused on the highest possible salary, the best title, the most perks, that sort of thing. Those people tend to congregate in companies and industries where they can make that happen. Sometimes it's the classically well-paid industries like trading companies or hedge funds. Sometimes it chases trends. I mean, look, the enrollment data on computer science courses spikes pretty hard once it became clear that there were a lot of high-paying jobs in software development, right? Once Facebook and Google made all that real, everyone showed up. You might lament the fact that you can't pay people as much as those companies. But the truth is, you probably didn't want to hire those folks anyway. They're the ones who are primarily motivated by money. Even if you did hire them, they would always have left for a nickel more some other place. Examples. There's some pretty smart and capable people who work in your university library and in nonprofits and as teachers in the public school system. They aren't confused, wondering why they aren't paid what a blockchain specialist was making in 2019. They know the role they picked. They know that it wouldn't take too much to change roles in companies to make more money, sometimes in roles or companies with less stress. And if objective value of money was the core motivation, they absolutely would. But they don't. Maybe they want to give back, or support others, or be in an organization that rewards long-term thinking. They are driven by a return on investment that isn't financial in nature. They have a different set of metrics by which to measure their choices. And isn't the opportunity to make your own choices what drives personal satisfaction?